do that. On Parshas Lech Lecha, Rabbi Krohn noted that Adam and Noach were both tzaddikim and neviim, but their flaw was that they kept it to themselves. Abraham notably opened himself up to the world around him. He didn't act piously in private only. He did so publicly and set an example for others. He took personal and community responsibility. He was Zocheh to be the father of our people. One of my favorite sugim in Tanakh is from Megillas Esther. Seeing Esther's reticence to reach out to King Mordechai says something to the king. Mordechai says something interesting. He says, look, this has to be done. So if you don't do it, somebody else will. Hashem will provide. But Mordechai says to Esther, which to us reading the story, knowing the outcome, is perhaps laughable. But Mordechai says, perhaps, this whole confluence of events have brought you here at this moment to do this task. Again, to us it seems so obvious because we know the end of the story. I say to all of you, when asked to serve, perhaps, just perhaps, Hashem puts you on this earth, in this community, in this shul, to serve the youth committee, or chair a dinner, or serve on the board, or fill in the blank. This might be your tafkid. This is why you are here. Who are you to turn it down? Yes, someone else might step up, but please don't miss your opportunity. But as Rabbi Krohn spoke on Parshas Va'era, according to the Pirkei Rabbi Elazar, Hashem wasn't asking Moshe Rabbeinu to bring about the entire Geula. That was Eliyahu's job. He was simply asking him to lead the Jews from Egypt. No one is asking any of you to jump in and take over everything today. But there is something that each and every one of you can do. And it isn't always easy. Because as Rabbi Krohn spoke about this morning, quoting the Midrash, we are all represented by the hooks in the Mishkan. We hold it together. Without us, it falls apart. We each have our part to play, and we all collectively need to commit our part. But who has the time? Rabbi Krohn answered this as well. Just last week, when he discussed Google time, find something you love, carve out the time. I spend 50 to 60 hours a week in my office in Manhattan. On an average week, at least 5 of those is not billed to a client because I'm doing some one or other of my extracurricular activities. If it's important, you find the time. I spoke to the CEO of a global major advertising agency who told me that some of his days go from UJA to local federation to Chabad. He told me that you should volunteer your talents. Yes, it's important to pack Tomchei Shabbos, but if you're a lawyer, then volunteer your time helping a not-for-profit doing legal work. If you're a plumber, help people with pro bono plumbing services, and so on. So whether it's marketing for TABC or managing music for the Nachum Segal Network, hashtag NSN app available on your Android or iPhone, I found things that I love, and that's what I focus on. Perhaps the most important lesson Rochelle and I have learned in our work for the community is to let it go. It's just not worth getting upset about. A number of years ago, I heard Charlie Harari and Dr. W. Lieberman talk about the power of forgiveness. It got me thinking, how dare do I go in on Yom Kippur begging Hashem to forgive me without first being able to forgive the people around me? As Adele Dazeem sings, let it go, let it go. I promise you, it is truly liberating. I can't tell you how much more meaningful my tefillot on Yom Kippur are since I give B'Leiv Shalom blanket immunity. Shabbos Parshas Vayigash, Rabbi Krohn spoke about post-traumatic embitterment disorder. People just can't get over it. I'm happy to say that the number of people in this shul who aren't speaking to me right now is at an all-time low. I actually think I can count them on one hand, and some are even here tonight. I know one thing for sure. I really do. I'm not worth being upset over. I'm just not. So if I have done something to you, real or imagined, in all seriousness, I am truly sorry. The fact is, I know I can't please everyone. The final pasuk of Megillas Esther, it says, Mordechai became a leader in the community. He saved all the Jews. All was good, and most people were happy. Really? Most people were happy? What does a guy have to do? But this is life in leadership. But again, I promise you that the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I was sitting on my great-grandfather's lap at the Shabbos table, singing, Yizkarenu Elokeinu L'Tova. May Hashem remember us for good. I turned around and saw my great-grandfather crying. At the time, I didn't understand why. In hindsight, it may be that at that moment, he realized and acknowledged he had passed his Masorah successfully to yet another generation. There are few things that can ensure our successful transmission of the Masorah than making the Beit Knesset central to our lives. For time immemorial, from the days of the Mishkan to today, the centrality of the Beit Knesset has sustained our people. We have an obligation to continue that Masorah and pass it on to our children. A number of weeks ago, while celebrating my parents' 50th anniversary, one of my sisters described my father as follows. Not only is he a glass half full person, he couldn't understand why anybody would want any more than a half a glass. I inherit this optimistic view. It is my hope and belief that this community, under our new Rav, and the new generation of lay leadership has great things ahead. Once again, thank you for all your support, your love, your forgiveness, your admiration, and most of all, your continued friendship. Rochelle and I are truly blessed and touched tonight more than you will ever know. Thank you.